Today is Thursday, December 15th, 2016, and this is Maelstrom Radio.
Maelstrom Radio. With your hosts, Flatus and Shinder.
Welcome everybody to Maelstrom Radio. My name is Flatus, and the guy next to me probably punched a tree today. It's Shinter.
I wish I punched a tree, but it was way too cold out.
Really? How cold? I feel like I'm walking into a bad joke, but how cold was it?
Well, I just checked the weather app on my phone, and it's about minus 11, feels like minus 19. That's in Celsius, but it really doesn't translate nice to Fahrenheit either. It's cold.
Sounds like a party.
It's nice and warm in here, and that's all that matters.
Of course. That's all that matters. It's been busy. Usually how we start the show is, if you're new to here, if you're new here, let us know.
You'd fit right in.
Yes. We wear shirts, but below the camera, nothing. Bare-assed and podcast.
Yeah, it's not the weekend
It's
yet.
It's too cold. It's too cold.
That's true. Fleece line jeans are amazing.
I live in Florida. Podcasted and bare-assed. I would love to name the episode Podcasted and bare-assed, but I don't think it'd go over well with iTunes.
Never know. There's always another year.
There is another year. We haven't been waiting for Twitch to slap us with something. We haven't gotten one yet, so I'm okay. We've been busy. That's all I can really say. We Shin and I have been really busy. I think
it's that season.
Shopping, the extra workload comes in. Family commitments. My mom is coming in the first week of January, so I have that week off from work. Don't worry, we'll talk about that as well. We do got this. Speaking of things and all that, we will be taking a small hiatus for the holidays. So this episode 17, the one you're hearing right now, if you're live with us at twitch.tv/Maelstrom Radio, or if you're going to be listening to this later on Stitcher, iTunes, and or Google Play, or if you got a podcast thing you need us to make sure we're on, let us know. We'll get it on there. But if you're hearing this later and you're like, and you come back next week, you're like, where the hell are these guys? We have family stuff, guys. Like Shin's not here. He travels for family, and we want to kind of keep that high level quality we've been delivering, like getting better at, and we don't want to like sit back and like have him go off a like laptop or have to bring all his equipment with him. He doesn't want that. I don't want him to have to drag
too many wires.
It is a lot. Even if he just brought the mic and headset, it's still a lot for him to get it all set up on the MacBook. And if you don't remember the grainy Shin we had before, it wasn't great. Old MacBook camera.
Good MacBook cameras.
Yeah.
It was great like 8 years ago when it came out.
Look how many pixels. So
I got a pixel.
Yeah, you got a pixel. Have you seen Allo or whatever it is? Yeah,
I do. It's on my phone, and I've never used it.
Yeah. Can I have Allo on an iPhone? I'm assuming I can.
Probably. I have to actually know about Allo, but I don't use Allo or Duo.
It looks like you can do group chatting with stickers, which we already kind of technically do in Facebook. Anyway, we do. Other than that, all right. So real quick, we'll just cut through all of our Maelstrom Radio news. So last episode done. We're done for the year, not forever. So don't worry, we're not going away.
It'll feel like forever, but it will only be like 2 weeks.
Don't worry, baby, I'm coming back. You know
3
who
weeks.
you are. You know who you are. Wink. So we'll come back in the new year. We'll collect all the news. So that's one thing I'm gonna do while I'm gonna have a document open, a Google Doc for Shin and I, and any Final Fantasy 14 related news we'll throw in there and make sure we're gonna hit. And if it's more than one show's worth, trust me, we'll break it into 2 shows and we'll start hitting the new year hard with content. We know for sure that we will be talking about Japanese Fan Fest come the new year. That's going to be major stuff we're going to talk about.
If there's nothing announced at Japanese Fan Fest for us to talk about, I'll be very disappointed.
I'll be pissed off that I spent $30 and got nothing from Japanese Fan Fest.
Hey, you got the Minion. You put the money for the Minion.
$30 for a Lulu Minion's not $30 for a Lulu. I mean, if anything, I'll get 2 concerts again.
Yeah, you also get the concert.
So
speaking of which, I still haven't gotten my pre-order information or actually any communications about my duality order.
Oh, you know it's on iTunes already, right? Like the digital version.
Oh yeah, I know that it's on iTunes, but I pre-ordered it like 2 months ago, and I have no shipping, no emails, no nothing.
That seems weird. Like it should have.
Yeah, it's almost been out for a week now.
It's a bit strange.
Klaus from Phoenix Down Radio also had his pre-order. We were talking on Twitter the other day, and it took him a few days to get his information as well.
Speaking of Phoenix Down Radio, I called in to their show this past weekend while they were talking about Final Fantasy 15 and kind of their year-end wrap-up. And I just was talking about, and I kind of mentioned Maelstrom Radio.
Maelstrom Radio is great, but it's been kind of quiet for a bit.
Yeah.
It might pick up again once I start baking for the holidays.
I was going to say all the holiday baking. Sarah Tomoto, their Lord Barian over there, he's like, I love that. That's the thing. So we're doing something right. We're doing something right. It may not be the show. It may be the food Twitter that we have.
It's disappointing. I did make some pies the other week, and I didn't post them up there. I'll have to get those up soon.
There you go. Look, we got the pie tweet coming. All right, well, let's jump into. We got one more. Yeah, we do have some Final Fantasy 14 news, but I do have one more bit of news. But I think I'll save that for the main talking points because we are going to talk about future stuff. So, all right, so let's jump into Final Fantasy 14 news. The Starlight event starts today. Right now. It's going on right now. So if you are not listening to us, stop the show. Let's do the other thing.
No, you can listen to the show and do the Starlight celebration. Like those 2 things can be done at the same time.
Yeah, but I'm currently like command center. You can. I can't. I mean, I could, but I'll derail the shit out of this show because you know me. It takes a lot of concentration for me to run it around and talk to NPCs about nothing. So it's from December 15th to Saturday, December 31st. The event starts in Ul'dah. The quest is called Naughty or Nice. The items include a Starlight robe, which actually looks pretty nice. I have to give them credit. The male and female versions of the robes look really nice. It's red. It's got a hood. I don't know if the hood can go up or down. I kind of hope it goes up. You get the Starlight Orchestrion roll. There's some pies. You made the tweet.
It's up now.
Starlight. All right. Speaking, did you tweet about us going live?
Sorry? Oh yeah, I did.
All right, cool.
Don't worry, I'm on top of this.
Yeah, Starlight. I'm just making. Listen, he tweeted about pies and us going live, so it's all good. Starlight pillars, and which are pillars with reefs on them, and a snowdrift. So for the outside, you could put like piles of snow. I was thinking about just getting nothing but snowdrifts and putting them all over our front lawn and just like
that has to happen, yeah.
All right, cool. Just making sure, and then putting pillars around just with fucking reefs around the outside.
I'm not sure if you saw. I saw actually a picture on Reddit earlier of the robe that you get from it, and apparently it dyes really, really well.
Really?
Just like I think it's a red robe, right, that you can get from it.
Yes.
Yeah, and this you can apply different dyes to it, and the way that they've done the dye on it it works really really well to make it different colors.
Cool. I'm gonna try to make it like soul black. Just
I don't know. I was thinking like bright hot pink.
can we?
I have no idea, but now I really want to do that.
All right, cool. We're gonna be those assholes in the war, the new war. They're like, well, the property values went down because of these jerks.
You got snow everywhere and
Hot pink pillars.
Pink. Yeah. No. The dresses.
The dress. Oh, the robes. Yeah, we'll just wait outside. Yeah. We'll wait outside and we'll start doing nothing but the ranger poses.
You gotta start dabbing.
Yeah, we'll just start dabbing outside. They'll be like, "The fuck is going on over there?"
Welcome to Garuda Gang.
I'm surprised that this week we got email this week. We'll talk about that too. But I'm surprised that no one emailed us about my Lalafell comment. So I rather dodge the bullet or nobody listens. It's gonna be one of the two. We know people listen because we can see people listening.
Or they tune you out.
That may be it. There's only two of us, so it's really one-sided conversations at some point. So that's it for Starlight. There's no minions, no sleigh. The chair's not here. I thought that for sure we were gonna see the chair. Like the chair that they mentioned at FanFest, you're like, look at the flying chair mount. And I was like, oh, okay, we'll get that around Starlight. Nope. It's not happening. So I have no idea where the hell that flying chair is.
Is Starlight the holiday celebration?
Yes.
But it's not the New Year celebration yet.
No. So we still have the New Year celebration. Also, that chair, based on the chair's design, and I have a little theory on this we could talk about. Based on that chair's design and seeing the new designs for the new mock area, kind of remember how I said it kind of looks like Alice in Wonderland, and remember the girl on the chair looked like she's dressed like Alice, and the chair. I guarantee you that's probably our ending thing from mock, or the ending like a bonus drop from mock is that chair. It's either we're gonna get it from the quest, or it's gonna be a drop in mock. Or whatever that new section of dungeon is. Calling it now. Here on the...
We already know that it's in the Great Glue Ball Library.
The chair, yes. And that would make sense. So we can see the design of the chair, but based on the design of that new Alliance raid and how it kind of does look like Alice, like that, very much the Queen of Hearts design, kind of like Diamond and Alice in Wonderland-esque design. And the fact that Alice was sitting on that fucking chair. I'm calling it now. Flatus, Maelstrom Radio, calling it now. We're getting that shit in mock. So 2.5, that chair is coming. I'm telling you. If it doesn't, my dog Greg eats dry food for a week.
As you do know that you actually have to have gear and play the game in order to run the latest raid, right?
Yeah, well, I'm close. I'm getting there.
What's the current tier for rating?
What for Alexander or Mock? Because Mock, those are different.
No, probably Alexander, because it's going to be something around there for the last tier of Mock, I'm guessing.
We're hitting it, right? Like, because we're getting script gear. Because it's not going to be top end gear. We're going to be able to run in there at 260. There's no way.
I just got in. I'm just at 240 right now.
There's no way. I mean, we'll hit 260 before that patch comes out. I mean, we're not doing anything for next time.
At your current rate?
Right. Yeah, I'm so close to getting that chest piece. What are you talking about? Honestly, if I get that chest
one that
piece,
I have?
Yes. Shush.
And the pants.
All right. Hey, I got the pants. All right, buddy. Don't give me shit. I'm wearing pants. Not now. This is podcasting bare bottoms. My character, though. See, I brought it back around. See how I did that? You know, we got one listener out there that's like, these guys are the greatest comedians ever. We thank
Thanks,
you.
Paul.
Thanks, Paul Metal. It's Paul Metal and Chili, and they're both laughing at this. That's it. The other podcasts look down on us. They're like, these guys, we don't associate with Maelstrom Radio. Speaking of reminders, your last reminder from us that you have 8 days until Japanese Fan Fest. You can still go get the stream, and it's $29.99. That includes if you didn't get the original stream for Fan Fest, you're already at Fan Fest for America. You get the Abe's attire or the Yuna attire for Final Fantasy X, and you get the Lulu minion this time around. So don't forget, you also get the in between each panel. They're gonna do the American breakdown, the translated breakdown of everything that we heard. So during the thing, you're not gonna be able to really know, but then in the between each set, we'll get our breakdown. So, I don't know. That's fine. I'm cool with that. I'll be watching it over the break. I'll probably just send, pictures and stuff, screenshots to Shin, and they'll be like, "What? Oh, that's cool." If they don't announce anything, I feel bad for the JP folks, but anyway, let's. That's all I got for news. There's nothing really else Final Fantasy 14 related.
I got one more thing here.
Oh.
Kind of not so much this year, I guess, but it'll be really interesting to see next year, since I believe it's the 30th anniversary of Final Fantasy. So this year should start to kick off, and I wouldn't be surprised if we hear some stuff at the Japanese Fan Fest with that.
I agree. I would also think that during the live letter in that Fan Fest, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't hear anything about the 15 crossover at that point. I would think, since the game's out now for over about a month at that point, a little over a month, that we wouldn't hear about it. So I think we would hear about it at that point. I don't know if it'll come in 2.5, maybe 2.55, or something maybe even after, like a 2.65 or 7.5, like something to hold us over, to tide it over.
We won't have a 2.6.
I know. We won't have a 2.6, but like a 2.75 or something. You know what I'm saying? Like just a little chunk of content that's like 15 related, and it's like we can do something that holds us over. They could do that. Something small that's like, oh, okay, reasons for us to give content to Maelstrom Radio to talk about, so they're not
Warblade.
Or yeah. I mean, if I get one as a Dark Knight, you know what's gonna happen? I'm gonna get Gladio's fucking giant ass sword.
Oh, I'd be okay with that.
That giant Gladio sword. I don't want his hair though. If they give us hairstyles and stuff, although I don't know, it'd be kind of cool if like the Noctis kind of hairstyle on that aura. I'd be okay with that.
I take
Prompto?
Yeah, Noctis Prompto.
I would say you'd probably go with the Prompto aura. They're gonna give us a camera so we can take selfies, and I'm gonna be like, no, WoW did this. This is all right. I'll take it.
I'm really hoping we don't get selfie cameras, although it would kind of be awesome if we did get something like that.
And there's a Gladio filter.
No, it'd be great if, like, when you're fighting and doing all these raid things, they had a thing that was automatically taking screenshots that you could review after you're done the zone.
I'd be cool. You know what? Like an end of dungeon, like badass, like fight thing, or after raid, like camera shot thing. Yeah,
kind of like they do, like every time when you camp, you get a bunch of photos that you can review and save. Why do the same thing here?
Why do we develop the coolest shit on our show?
We do have a range when you think about it. Like we go from, we have these really awesome ideas. Let's take photos during epic battle shots, all the way to, hey, let's start an anime.
I don't know what you're
16 year in review.
Oh, it's great. It's good stuff. Speaking of your review, let's actually get into our main talking about, which is the Final Fantasy 14. How did Final Fantasy 14 do this year for as a game, as an MMO, as I'll go on and say it. I think Final Fantasy 14 really put up its dukes, took some swings at not Warcraft, and I would say it's probably sitting at a healthy like they're really taking blows at WoW. and doing it pretty good. And I think from what we can see with some of the Stormblood stuff, that this is going to be it's going to be a big fight. I kind of dig it.
I would definitely like to see some more of that, like Revenge of the Horde type stuff that they were doing. Like, it's not that they're going out and just making things up and trying to fight all these other companies, but it's nice to have some competition and to actually be recognized as one of the major players in this industry, especially after the horrible failure of 1.0. To be able to come back from that and be up there and competing with the likes of the big names like Warcraft and EverQuest and
Guild Wars.
Guild Wars, yeah.
Guild Wars. I would even say, based on what's going on now, even like Elder Scrolls Online, like based on like how well they're kind of doing right now, ever since they kind of released like their expansion packs for like the different like the Dark Brotherhood and all, like the stuff that people really draw people into the Elder Scrolls series. Like when they started releasing that, they started picking up more steam, like the Rogues Guild and all that stuff. So and plus like it being on consoles, and I would even suggest that Final Fantasy 14, I would, if they can really hammer it out with Microsoft, like get Microsoft to really work it out, it would be great if Final Fantasy 14 can come to the Microsoft's console, because it's powerful enough to run the game. They have the Scorpio system coming out next year. It's not like they're running out of power. They're doing the same thing Sony's doing with incremental increases in power gains and stuff like that. So it could be a really big year to get them on another console, and that's great for all of us as players, because even though some people are like, well, the Microsoft community, it doesn't matter. Some people made a choice of getting an Xbox because they're like, well, if Final Fantasy 11 was on Xbox, I'll get another Xbox because I think Final Fantasy 14 will come to the Xbox. You hear that, you buy one in preparation, and you can't afford the other console. So I'm kind of down for that. But I'm jumping into next year. I'm gonna let me stay on this year. As it's doing this year for me, as personally, Final Fantasy 14 had I think a pretty solid year. I would say maybe 3.1, 3.2. The patches were like a little lackluster. We got Verminion, which really, I mean, most of the only reason I'm playing it is to get my Twintani minion, and that's it. I would never touch it again. I love the pets, but I'm never gonna go in there and be like, I want to play Verminion. It seems like it was the system that they constantly now have to keep up to date. Every time they put out a minion, they have to like, well, we have to give it moves and shit. We have to be able to like support it for Verminion. And then maybe 3 or 4 people that go in there just to top the leaderboard for whatever reason. Like, I'm pretty sure there's completionists out there that do that shit. And God will, good for you, buddy, because I ain't doing it. But I still like collecting the Triple Triad cards. I play Triple Triad every once in a while when I have like a minute and like I'm waiting for a queue, or if I just want some time to kill. And I see an NPC nearby, I'll just throw it down and be like, I'll let it randomly make me a deck and see how good this is. And nope, none of it's good. Other than that, Final Fantasy 14 is a game. I think when you and I started going into just blindly going into the raids and trying them out and having
doing it live,
I realized that like I started enjoying, there were certain fights in this game, like Ozma. I fell in love with Ozma as a raid. Like I've done raiding in Warcraft, I've done raiding in a little bit of Rift, I've done somewhat of like what Guild Wars calls raids, I guess. Like they're giant, like all server sized boss fights. And Ozma still is probably my favorite raid boss. Like of all the raid bosses I've ever done, especially in my history with WoW, like that's 12 plus years of playing that game and going back and doing raid bosses, I still find Ozma entertaining. Like I think it's great that you have to work in unison with all these people. You have to, like, the tank has to take hits. It's really like a kind of a tank buster, why people get healed and nobody else can get hit. And then that second phase where he sucks you into the black hole, which is the first time you see that, you don't expect it, is the greatest feeling, because I'm like, oh my god, what just happened? And all of a sudden we're in this like dream world, and you realize Ozma at some point like sucked out the like a paradise of this world inside of him. And I'm like, or it, and uh such a beautiful, well done fight. And then like even going through the story of Heavensward at first, I was like, this is kind of convoluted. Like at first I was like, well, he's a pissed off dragon, but then it started really coming together at the end with Thoradin, and then harsh. I'm like, talking about it now because if you don't know, but my heart broke. My heart sank when I lost Harshavant. Like I never liked a character so, like.
Giselle.
I liked her too. I know they're both so great, but Harshavant just looks at you and he's like, a hero never. He's like, a smile better suits a hero, and I'm just like, I need to die. It should have been me. So, I mean, I've never wanted to kill a dragon anymore. Like I fought plenty of dragons in WoW, and I'm like. Even one that destroyed the world, and I'm like, he's just kind of a nuisance. It wasn't really that I needed. I'm like, he fucked up the world and shit, but.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't think I actually shouldn't speak for you, but I know I haven't gone and done Binding Coil yet. And that dragon also destroyed the world, but I haven't had any reason to go and kill him yet.
But we should. We should go in there.
We should definitely go there.
We could probably just do it unsynced and go through it without any harm. Cause
not as much fun, though.
It's not. Chili does it, but Chili likes doing everything unsynced. If you wink, if you know what I mean. Nudge, nudge, Chili. I don't know what that means. I don't know why I tried to make unsyncing sexually. It's not. I mean, maybe it is sexy. You ever go unsynced, baby? This is why Flat is single. Next year,
anyway.
Next year on Maelstrom Radio, Shinter finds a new co-host.
I am looking.
We are. It's more on that later. So other than that, I don't know. Like I had a lot of fun this year playing this damn game. Like I think I sunk more hours on Final Fantasy XIV than I did in anything else. And the only time I really didn't play it over a weekend for a long period of time is unless I was deathly ill. Which had happened this year, or I was at FanFest, and even then, I still got some time. I still got some time in. And we got to try something that's not in the game yet, but that will be in the game in a few harder as well as I come to know that it's going to be harder than what we played at FanFest. And I'm
looking forward to that.
I am looking forward to that. I am also looking forward to having my setup. Because I think really our difficulty came out of like my mouse is like has buttons on the side and we have macros and my buttons are set up a certain way. Like bastards. Anyway, so I don't know how I would really rate Final Fantasy XIV. I would probably say we still have another patch in this expansion. I don't want to give it like a finality rating, but I would say maybe this year. Started off slow, got really ramped up. I really enjoyed 3.4, that patches, especially with how like the loose ends got tied up and the story was really nicely wrapped up for a lot of loose ends. Dropping the breadcrumbs into what's going to be 2.5 and going into Stormblood. So I would say I would give it a solid 8.5, maybe 9. I want to. Next year when we get through 2.5, we'll have more of a better rating, and then when we do a special episode, which I need to start talking to maybe some people about, sending out emails for that. Yeah, if you hear this and you have a mic and you sometimes do a show, you may be getting an email from us or something like that.
Better watch out.
Yeah, better not cry. I don't know. This got dark, maybe. How would you rate Final Fantasy? Like so far, like for this year, how would you kind of rate like Final Fantasy 14?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty similar thoughts on there. Like I think that the beginning of the year kind of started off a little bit slowly, and it definitely ramped up as the year came on. I'm finding more that, especially having done the main storyline and being caught up now, Whereas this time last year, I don't think I was. I think I was still somewhere in the middle, on my way working towards getting caught up. I do find that it's a little bit more periods of lulls and more just grinding or farming. Like for right now, for example, we're working on animal weapon steps and getting gear and getting scripture for our 260 gear, and leveling up through or doing deep dungeon to get up that gear. And I do find that there's a lot to do during downtime, but it does tend towards the more grindy bit. So I am looking forward to some of the stuff they're doing with Stormblood, with hopefully with Eureka and some of the other parts there to make it a little bit more interesting. But yeah, I would definitely say that this year's been pretty solid with it. The game has definitely improved this year. It's well above where it was at the beginning of the year. There's been lots of quality of life improvements. There's been lots of new effects. There's been lots of new content, new dungeons, new raids, new everything. Especially considering there's no expansion this year. So there's been a lot of content out of there. So it really hasn't been a drought at all.
Yeah, I have to say, I kind of agree. I mean, I know there's people that say like we do get like these mini droughts where there's like we're caught up with content, so there's really nothing else to do but kind of get your tomes, cap your scripts, and go get your gear and do that once a week. But all in all, I mean, like considering like other MMOs when they deliver an expansion, you may get a few patches of content, and that's it. And it may not be story, it may just be like, well, here's the new raid, or here's the new PvP arena, or here's the new PvP map, or here's the quality of life stuff, or here's some bug fixes and whatnot. So getting consistent content is great. I know Warcraft's kind of seeing that now, but I can't guarantee, or I can't even say like that's gonna last. I mean, they may only have 7.3 up to 7.3 like planned, and they may stop and they may say, all right, well, so I mean, I just don't know. Like it's hard enough with the team size that Square has for them to pull it off. Blizzard has way above that, and they haven't been able to do it. So I really do give like a round of applause and a thumbs up to Square, because it is a hard task to consistently make patches and with content. It may not always be great for Minion, but when they do deliver, it is out of the fucking park. Like 3.3, 3.4. I'm excited for 3.5 or 3.5. I almost forgot.
That is the patch.
That is the patch. I forgot that they had a 1.0. No, we just don't talk about it. That being said, all right. So I also want to take a look back at the kind of the community this year, and I would want. Really, this is going to be a look back at like the people we kind of met, and maybe like some of the listeners and people we met in game and out of the game, and our fanfare community and stuff like that. Fanfare community, you're pretty solid. I'm not gonna lie, you guys are pretty all right. I want Famfrit to be better. Not in a sense of the people. I think the quality of people we have on our server is pretty solid. Like I gotta say, we don't server wide. I don't get too many dicks on our server. Most of the time, I do get messages like, "Hey, can I?" Like they're pretty friendly. Like we've asked people to run something. We've actually gathered somebody, like a group of people on our server, and like I mean, granted, it was still when like Nidhogg was kind of tough to beat. Tough bunny ears, like depending on how you ran it and who you played with, but community wise, all right, I'm okay. Like I got it. I want to like kind of give a shout out to the other podcasts, Musecast, Phoenix Down Radio, Move Around, Lemon Break Radio, and Gather Together, who we all met at FanFest. You guys are fucking phenomenal. Like, to be real here for a second, like real life caught up with me here at my apartment. Like I had a hole in my roof and I couldn't get the time to sit down and do a show, and life was hitting hard. And I went to FanFest. I was like when the FanFest tickets went on sale, I was constantly back and forth with Shin and be like, "Is this happening? Are we gonna get these tickets?" this really are we gonna do this? Is this a thing? And Shin just like, fucking get the tickets. Just go get the tickets. I was like, all right, got the I'm like, it's done. And he still didn't get his tickets yet. I was like, uh-oh.
Oh, I was like, I was the same thing. I was going back and forth. I'm like, this is like 7 months in the future. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to go to Vegas. I'm still planning a trip to Japan this year.
Yeah. It
all worked out.
It did kind of work out. And at that time, we had stopped podcasting. And it wasn't a choice like we were like, well, this show's over. It was just like life hit us really hard, and FanFest lit a fire kind of under my ass. But it was such a great fire though. Like I don't think I can not do this show now. Not only because I spent hundreds of dollars in equipment to help do this show, but I don't think I can not do this show because I love doing it. Like, I love this game and I love this community, and I don't want to speak for Shin, but my co-host is kind of awesome because not only does he keep me alive, but he not every show has a system developer, software developer on their show. So when I come up with crazy shit that could probably be in an MMO, he's the guy that tells me, he's like, no, you're an idiot. You can't do that. So it does keep my theory crafting of what this game can and cannot do in check. So like, some people want to reach big and say, hey, you can do this, and it's sometimes not as easy as it looks. Also, you know, he makes sure that I stay within the realms of talking about the game. He may slip up and let me die, but that's fine. But
win some, you lose some.
Yeah. Also, a big shout out to Move Go Around, Paul Metal, and Chili. They were the first podcast to kind of like reach out to us and say, hey, we really like what you guys are doing, and we kind of want you on our show. So we went and did that, and we got to know Luna Vox and do that. Our first show with them. That was fun. And we learned about Cheeky Nando's and how much they love food.
I'm going to actually have to go and visit that over the winter break here.
Please take pictures.
Oh, of course. I would definitely take pictures.
Or you could send it at Maelstrom Radio on Twitter. If you have not followed our food Twitter, it's Maelstrom Radio. Just take mail in the strum and just make it meal.
There's also no underscore in it.
There is no underscore in it. It's just Maelstrom Radio. All at Twitter. We would have Maelstrom Radio Twitter, but
some egg.
It's just some egg that's not used the account in way too many years. I wish Twitter had a thing where it's like, if you don't use your account so many years, you lose it, or you lose the name. And they just make you some egg. You know how many some eggs there'd be out there? It'd be great. Big shout out to Phoenix Sound Radio, of course, Klaus, Luna Vox, Sarah Timono. You guys are great. You're fantastic. A fantastic podcast. You guys support us, even though we are a little bit on the rougher edge of things.
We're right off that edge.
Yeah. You guys are probably way more community centric with like the lore and stuff like that. We are more of a, not to say we don't talk about the community and the game and stuff like that. We're more of a comedy podcast where you are, I think, guys focus more on the game itself, and we focus on, I don't know what the hell the show's about sometimes. It's really a show. It's experimental. Thursdays.
Words.
Yeah, experimental comedy Thursdays. It's almost the whole week at this point. And Musecast, which we desperately, by the way, if you listen to this, we desperately want you on the show. So in the new year, expect to see, if they say yes, expect to see Musecast on the show, because there's something that Shin and I don't do is roleplay, but that's not a we hate role players stance. That's more of, we don't know anything about the roleplay community and then if we could have two people that are into it on the show and it kind of tell us like, yo, this is what it's about. And I'm not saying like I like role playing D&D, so why would this be you'd think it would be no different for us, but maybe Dwarf Cleric doesn't always translate to, I don't know. See, I don't know what I'm talking about, but Remixaker and Emmy from Musecast. Thanks for meeting us out at FanFest. Like meet you guys as well. And go listen to their shows. Like Musecast did great interviews with not only Ethis Asher but also Anonymous about lore and how it relates to RP. Phoenix Down Radio just did their end of the year episode. Limit Break Radio, I met Kuki Persona, I met Anira Grigori, and Nika. I know that if you don't listen to their show because you've heard bad things, take that out of your mind and just put yourself in the thought of they are characters playing. Like Anira Grigori is a character, and the real Aniro is a guy that loves this game and wants to see it succeed. And him and I almost share the same thought that if you pay monthly for any game, doesn't matter what it is, if you're putting your hard-earned money, you don't sit there and say, this is fine. You take my money and I trust you because this is what you want, right? Like I haven't.
The fire burns. Everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. You can't sit there and say it's fine. Like we as podcasters have that option to sit there and be. I mean, I will be the first person to call bullshit on Square. I think Verminion was a piece of shit. I don't think you should have put it in the game, and I think you wasted resources on something that was a hit. Like I don't get like it was a hit or miss, and it was such a miss because I don't think you looked and said, "Is this something our community wants?" I get that it was just a game for the Gold Saucer, but it's now needs to be forever supported, and that kind of pisses me off. Like you need to have at least one guy that's like, well, every time we make a pet, we need somebody to make the system to make sure it's balanced and shit. Like that bothers me. Please, if you say like, hey, every minion from now on doesn't have to be part of like Verminion because we know nobody likes it, I'd be okay with that. Like I'd totally be okay with that. Just to say it's over with, it's done, no one to worry about it. I don't know. Maybe you guys have plans, or it's easy just to throw in a random number generator and be like, they just do this and it's okay, it's balanced. I don't know. Shit, will probably tell me I'm wrong, but if you haven't, like, go. They're much like they are the number one Final Fantasy 14 podcast. Not like I need to tell you to go listen to them, but wouldn't hurt. Other than that, am I missing anybody? Ethis Asher, great guy. I met him. I mean, we met so many people. Like big YouTubers. Never forget Death March for Sushi. Never let Klaus live that down. Other than that,
great night though.
Yeah, big thanks to Ockmorn for being really supportive of our show. She's not only is super open to talk to, like if you are in the community, or if you're a Final Fantasy 14 player, like she's one of your community leads. Like you can talk to her on Twitter. Like if you're interested in streaming and you have no idea, ask her to join the Novice Network on Discord and get it in there. There's a lot of people that are new to streaming and they'll help you out. There's people that are veterans to streaming that'll tell you how to set stuff up if that's what you want to do, if you want to stream. And you can post in there and make friends and people that you might want to work with. It may be something we use to find a new host. I don't know. Maybe a thing. So get in there. It's just always use this community for what it is, and what it is kind of awesome. Don't get me wrong, like I've seen a lot of gaming communities, but for some reason I don't know what it is, but the Final Fantasy 14 community, there's a lot of love there. Like I know there's a lot of vitriol in a lot of gaming communities, but if I had to put it out on a kind of if I had to make it balanced, if a certain goddess had to look at it and say if it was balanced or not, I would have to say that the good outweighs the evil in this community by a long shot. Like we do get the occasional asshole in game and in Reddit and Facebook or wherever you travel.
On Reddit.
or the show sometimes. So, I don't know. I have nothing else to say really on the community. I like you guys so much. I just want to kiss all your faces. Shin. not gonna kiss you. Don't worry.
No, and especially even like this last year, we built up Gruta Gang a little bit. It kind of died off because of some sort of exodus to another MMO game that everyone kind of just went off for a month or two.
Everybody, it's funny. Everybody's like, we're coming back, and all of a sudden 15 hit. We're like, shit.
Yeah, we all decided to come back. So we all started coming back, and there's a couple of us, and then 15 hit, and we tried to play 15. And now I'm back in 14 again because I'm just going to wait until I have a week off.
You mean like next 2 weeks?
No, I have work next week.
Oh, no.
Week after, though. But yeah, even on Fanfret there with our guild, we've had a lot of people. We met like Dr. Quark and Seath and Toaster Oven and all these really great people on our server that have just been really friendly and helpful. And
yep. I also want a big thanks to Donkatron, who not only has leveled every single class in the game.
He's insane.
He is insane. It's also because he wasn't working. He's got. By the way, congrats, buddy, on the job.
Still insane.
Still insane.
Employed and insane. But...
So, yes, not insane because you're employed. I mean, but also, I mean, he's working now, so he's getting used to that schedule. So right now, he's probably in bed because he's sleeping. So I feel for him because if you've not worked for a while and you got used to like staying up a lot, and then all of a sudden you're working, it screws your sleep schedule up for a while. But the dude still listens. He always catches. He's usually the guy that catches up on YouTube or on iTunes. But he was always one of our very first listeners live, and thanks, buddy, like for the support, because that means a lot. And let's see, and we can kind of so real quick, we're gonna touch, because we did the whole thing on FanFest, but that was our first FanFest. I had fun.
It was the second FanFest only, so
it was well for 14. There were there were FanFest for 11. We just but
we don't talk about those.
I mean, we could, but so it was fun. Like we said, we got to meet a lot of the community there. That kind of, I'll tie that into the community. But the next thing I kind of want to jump into is doing a podcast about Final Fantasy 14 for the year, or a good chunk of it. I never thought that when I said, "Hey Shin, do you want to do a Final Fantasy 14 podcast?" that Shin would say yes, and B, be like, "That's not a crazy idea."
I don't know. I might have said it's a crazy idea, but we still did it anyway.
It's true. This has been really rewarding in a small way. Like, I've been doing podcasting now for 4 years, something like that. 3 or 4 years now, coming up. And having to do a podcast about a game that was canceled sucked. And doing a podcast on general gaming, it has its merits. Like, it's not bad, but I love doing this show, and I don't know if it's because I love, like, I have such a passion for this game, so therefore like that comes out through doing the show. But I get generally excited about like coming in and like, we doing the show tonight? It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Even if we're like, we have nothing to talk about, it still ends up being like some of the shows that we had nothing to talk about, like our last episode where we kind of theory crafted a action combat Final Fantasy game. I really enjoy those shows because it takes my mind where I think outside the box for some episodes, which I got used to with EverQuest Next, talking about EverQuest Next, and I apply it to a game that's currently here. And I think since I used my imagination and how that game would play out, I can use it for something that is in front of me, and I can use it to really say, like, what can they do? And I like having Shin here for that, because Shin can tell me they cannot do that, which kind of works out for me. So it's been really rewarding, and we still are kind of the podcast that is just experimental comedy and kind of something related to Final Fantasy. We still don't know. We have no idea what the hell we talk about here, but we do it.
And you keep listening.
Yeah, you do. We love you for it. So the Final Fantasy 14 year end, we have the Starlight with the New Year celebration. We're gonna do that. You'll probably see streaming from me. You'll probably hear Shin. It's not like he's unless he's not physically at with his computer and stuff like that. You'll probably still see him in chat if he hops in, and if he wants to watch me stream stuff, you probably still see him. If it's 15, you may not because he doesn't want to be spoiled. But if I stream 14 or something else,
I'm gonna be spending most of my week off trying to play 15 as much as possible, so I won't have time to watch your stream on that. I'm sorry.
not a problem. And if he streams, don't worry. If I stream or he streams, it auto plays on Maelstrom. So if you do see one of us streaming, it's gonna be hosted by Maelstrom. You'll be able to watch one of us stream. Don't worry. You'll see us. You'll hear us some way. You may just see us in chat. I don't know. So next year for the game, we have Stormblood coming out. Shin and I are super excited. That damn trailer, that little chunk of trailer we got. 2.5 is in January. We have 2.55. 3.5, 3.55. I swear, it's been a long week. It's almost Friday. I have a party at work tomorrow, and I'm just I brought sodas, and I just want to eat and just not do work tomorrow. They're not.
Mine was yesterday, so it's really not helping that whole midweek thing.
What'd you get? Oh, you guys went out, right, for it?
No, we have a new office that we moved into about a month ago, and we had some of our coworkers up from the States, and we had a decent little party in our office.
Nice. I see pictures of your office. I'm kind of jealous.
Our office is pretty nice.
You're pushing me to see what I can do to get that kind of degree, buddy. I always I've done. If you didn't know, Pilatus was going to school for computers, and then he went and got a real job, and then he just started working that real job, and he got really good. I kind of know business. I was given manager and supervisor roles at 23, so leading people, leadership training, yeah. What happened? Anyway, so next year for us, the host, we're gonna definitely work on the quality while on break and make sure that it is completely up to par. Where we definitely want it where it is a solid show every time, not only live streaming but on iTunes and when you hear the show after. I'm gonna re-record the outro. I may use a different song from Soto, but it is definitely gonna be a Soto song. I know it's hard, and I know he does his own music and stuff like that, and I don't want to make the ask, but I may make a small request and see if he will help us out. I will be forever in his debt if Mr. Soto does that for us, but so I don't know, but it may happen. So you may hear a new intro. I don't know, and I don't even know where it's going to be, but we will make an ask. If he's in chat right now, that would be crazy. He'd be like, no. Is there a chat going on? Oh, Chili's here. Hi, Chili.
There is. You missed it 20 minutes ago.
I'm disappointed that the children in this event are taller than my Lala, including the Lala children. I did miss it. And New Year for the show. So, kind of like we said earlier, that Shin and I we've been doing this show as a 2-person podcast since we kind of got back from FanFest. And we did have a third co-host, but he's been busy with work. He only gets weekends off, and and he works Mondays. Now, we have a couple options, and we're going to take a break. We could still fulfill those options if we need to. We could do a weekend show, which is a little bit harder on Shin because sometimes he goes away for the weekend. But if we did have the third host, then it wouldn't matter because then we could still do a 2-man on the weekend if we needed to, if Shin was out.
Yeah, you don't want to hear a solo show just with Flatus.
Yeah. It'd be
that gets dark really fast.
It does get dark really fast. It's not good, guys. It goes to dark places. I start Gregorian chanting. The lights go down, and the candles get lit, and I try to summon a demon named Chad.
Say his name.
Steven. There's a demon named Steven out there.
Is he at the center of the universe?
Yes. Yep. Chili would listen. If he
Of course you would.
Chili would come out here. He's like, "Did anyone else at Maelstrom? We're just fly to summon a demon named Steven." Interesting episode. It was like between two ferns with me, demon named Steven. Anyway, so we're gonna talk to if you've never seen an episode or listened to an episode of Carrie. Carrie's a huge Final Fantasy fan. It's not that we don't want him on the show. It's just it's a conflict of schedule right now, and we would love having him on the show because he's kind of really great about talking about Final Fantasy as a whole, and not only that, but 14. He's super excited for Stormblood. He can't wait for that to come out. He's already beaten 15, and I think he's run through all the extra content in it as well. Like, to say he's not a dedicated Final Fantasy fan is just such an understatement. So we'll talk with him, and if that can't be the case, we will be on the look for a third co-host, maybe a fourth. I don't want to get crazy. So it's rough doing it's rough doing cameras and audio. Like, if I can get just one person that has a decent camera and a decent mic, and if you have a passion for this game, honestly, I mean, we really kind of like you on fan for it, but it's not a detractor if you're not a fan for it. And then also next year you'll probably see guest hosts. We want to get of course, return the favor because they've had us on twice. Definitely want to get Moogle go around on our show, so they can tear us down to light a fire. I don't know. We probably like leave their show. They're like, oh God, why do we have them on? And then we definitely want to talk to Phoenix Down and Musecast and gather together and work with all of them. And there's some other podcasts that. Like She Heals I Tank, aka Shit. That, not kidding. That's what they knew what they were doing when they named that podcast. They knew it. So, definitely want to get talk to all of them and get some shows out of them. And like I said, there is a special episode of Final Fantasy Maelstrom Radio that I want to do based on Final Fantasy 14. And like I said, if you've heard your name, if you do a show and you kind of heard your name, don't worry, you'll be getting an email at some point next year.
You should worry.
Probably. Other than that, I have nothing else for us for the show for next year. Definitely, but when we come back in the new year, you will definitely hear us talk about FanFest and more Stormblood news and everything else, and we'll talk about what we've done in the break. Maybe we'll grow a little, and we'll learn something, and some enemies will become friends, some friends become enemies.
And your favorite character will die. And
I'll let you know who I kissed on New Year's. Probably my dog Greg. On his head. Ain't that right, Greg? That's not his name.
He's actually quiet for once.
He's quiet because he's looking at me like, my name's not Greg, asshole. So closing thoughts. I got nothing else.
Well, I got one more thing before we close off. We actually finally have mail.
We do have mail. We do.
I'm a little worried about reading this mail, but we have mail, so we have to read it.
Yeah. Go on. I'll let you read it. Do the honors. I just gotta sit here and look pretty. Spoiler.
That's true, yes. You might want to move back a bit first, though. So our lovely inaugural email is from the lovely Paul Metal of Moogle Go Round, and he says, "Hiya, I was listening to your lovely podcast with the battle system from 15. Like, having that in an MMO would be hard to run. Would be hard to run it to most people's PC, and then they would have to make a new console that would have to support that MMO. What do you guys think of that? I do have something to say on Flatus, that he needs to go back a bit when he's on the camera so that we can see his lovely face more. We love you, Shinjir and Flatus." From Paul Metal.
Thanks, Paul.
You gotta move back more.
I do. I forward and back, and then forward and back, and then one step forward.
Maybe just look forward to it.
Just like yeah, or just back. Like I don't know how far. I can't go any further. This is about as far back as I can go. I can go like you can really get in the face, but this is probably the good distance. I have a tendency to like do this and then do this and sit back here. I get it. It's just it's because I'm so used to being on shows where I don't from the command system, so I'm usually like such a laid back talker person, and then when people have his guests on their shows, like sometimes they don't do video or they're in game, so I'm just like way back. I'm like, yeah, podcasting, woo, don't care. I forget. I apologize, but to kind of touch on his question, they have games like that now, Paul. We know Black Desert is this. We know their Guild Wars is this. So making it
Kind of.
Yeah, kind of. Making well, I mean, for a good example, DCU Online, DCU Universe Online is a game that's a battle, like an active battle system, and it's on console. It's even on newer consoles. Now, granted, it is an older game, but it can be done. Now, when we theorized this game, I probably should have stated like in the future, like because we don't want to say this if the game was coming out now, it could be done. It would just be, but given some time, a new console, pushing the graphics a little more, figuring out a better battle system or a better action combat battle system, where I think Square could really shine on that. It could be possible. So I'm not disagree. I don't think Shin and I disagree with you. But to say that it can't be done right now, it could be done.
I definitely think that it can be done, but it would be better suited to a net new game at this point. It would be too much of a difference or a change from the current combat system in Final Fantasy XIV to introduce something like that at this point. And it would probably end up alienating a lot of people.
Yeah. And we already know that they're already pushing the graphics and stuff further in Stormblood, so a lot of people are going to be left out. I mean, if you don't have a PS3, if you still got a PS3, guys, get moving. Build a PC. If you listen,
there's been lots of sales on PS4s recently, not the Pro, but the old PS4 has been going pretty low now.
It has, and you can even trade your PS3 in toward the PS4, so and also if you guys ever like if you're just interested in jumping into PC gaming and say screw it, like go to Newegg, go to the DIY section of their components area. You could find decent builds for around $400 that include like a 1060 and it may be an i3 chip, but it'll run Final Fantasy 14 just fine. Like Intel makes pretty damn good chips, and then you have the Zen processor, the Ryzen processors coming out, so AMD chips are going to go down in price. Deal. So I mean, you can get a high quality chip for dirt cheap, and AMD is not a bad option if you're looking just to get into gaming on the PC side of things. You can get a decent gaming PC for around the same price as a console. So if you guys ever have questions about that, or if you have questions about like if you're a console player or you're a PC player and you have questions, we may not be super tech gurus, but we can kind of point you in the direction of where to kind of like look at and where you want to build your systems. Don't fall into those traps of going to like an Origin or an Alienware, because you'll end up spending more for them building it than because building a PC is super easy. It's like a 15-minute video and it's a lot. It's just color coordinated, and there's YouTube videos that you can follow, and they give you little books with colored pictures and stuff. It's really easy, guys. So that being said, our normal show is usually Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern. So when we get back, if things change, we will absolutely let you guys know. If that changes over the break, we will tweet it out. We'll let you guys know when we start going live. We will always go live here on Twitch, so that we're the show. It may not be the same time, but it'll definitely be the same channel. That channel is twitch.tv/Maelstrom Radio. You can find us now on iTunes, Stitcher. We have a blog, sort of.
We do have a blog, and it's up to date.
It is. So I may be turning on outro music and stuff. So it is up to date. So if you missed any of our old shows, you can find us at maelstromradio.com. That's www.maelstromradio.com. You can email the show at show@maelstromradio.com. You can find us at maelstrom_radio. Our Twitter handles are above us if you want to tweet at us.
Maelstrom Radio is a production of maelstromradio.com and Blackfire Media Productions. Final Fantasy XIV and Eorzea are trademarks of Square Enix. Opening theme provided by Benjamin Anthony James. You can find more of his music at soundcloud.com/Ben773. Outro music provided by Sodo. You can find more of their music at soundcloud.com/Sodo. Views and opinions expressed on this episode are those of Maelstrom Radio and their hosts, and do not reflect the views and opinions of Square Enix. And until sea swallows all, keep listening.
And guys, real quick, this is going to be a little bit of after show. You may have just heard a thing, but this is going to be a little bit of after show thing. For me and Shinter, we want to say thank you so much for the last year of 2016. Thank you, like we said, thank you so much to the other co-hosts that we've had on the show, which is Carrie. Thank you, Shin, personally for me. Thank you to all the other shows. Thank you to the Final Fantasy XIV community. And thank you so much for giving Maelstrom Radio some legs and bearing with us while we got on iTunes and stuff. I will promise you that Maelstrom Radio will be doing bigger and better things in 2017. And we will promise you that we will do our best to get our asses at FanFest 2018. Even if I got to pay extra to take direct flights out there. You'll see us out there. We have spare mics and stuff, so thank you so much. Thank you, Chili in chat, and Shin. Do you have anything to say for this little bit of extra after show?
I got nothing extra on here.
So thank you all again. I'm not gonna pay everything last time, but this is just I wanted to give a little quick message. So thank you to our listeners, and see you all in the new year.